And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Decap. Now, today we have another ranking the top 10 of blank position, and today we have power forwards. Now, as I've been as you know, I have to create my list before I rank them. But in all the power forwards, they're either really young or really old. So it was kind of hard making this list, but let's get into it. Honorable mentions. Now, we have 3 honorable mentions. 2 of them old players that have just regressed heavily this season, and one of them is a young guy that's kind of outperforming his expectations. Now, he wasn't nobody, and that is Christian Wood. Now, he would be higher on this list. It's just I want to see if this season is a fluke and if he can do it on a consistent basis. I love Christian Wood, but 2 or 3 more seasons, then I'll be sold. He could be like a 6 or 7 on this list. Now, my second honorable mention is Draymond Green. Obviously, heavy regression with no Steph Curry. He just didn't try, I guess. Now, another player that heavily regressed, Al Horford. Al Horford, he was amazing. Well, not amazing. Amazing for his play style last year. But on the 76ers, he just hasn't fit in, I guess. And he's been bad on the team. Now, number 10, yet another old guy, Paul Millsap. Now, Paul Millsap is a good player. He's a little underrated. He's still a big part of the Nuggets. It's just he's kind of what you expect. He gets 12 points, 6 rebounds. He's like a glue guy for the Nuggets. He helps Jokic. He helps Jamal Murray. He helps the team work. He is underrated. He's not amazing, but he definitely deserves to be on this list. So I have Paul Millsap number 10. Number 9, I have Zion Williamson. Now, obviously, he's averaging 24.7 rebounds, and he would be higher. It's just I'm hesitant because it's only been 19 games. If he can show that he can average 25 near on a consistent basis, I would raise him maybe all the way to 4 on this list, 4 or 5. He's just that good of a player. I really like Zion Williamson. It's just I need to see that he can sustain a great level of play. Now, number 8, I have Jaren Jackson Jr., JJJ, Triple J. You already know. Michigan State boy, yeah. And in a year, he could definitely rise, maybe all the way to 5, as others are regressing. And because there's 2 guys ahead of him that are regressing, 1 guy that just won't get any better, and Jaren Jackson definitely will get better. Now, Jaren Jackson is great on defense. He has a good 3-point shot for a big man. He's averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds. I would really like Jaren Jackson to be maybe a 20 points per game, 7 or 8 rebounds, and then I think he would be a great player in this NBA and would be 3 or 4 and reach his full potential. Jaren Jackson, as I said, he needs to raise his points a little bit and raise his rebounds and maybe get even better at defense, better at this 3-point shot. He definitely has potential to be a great NBA player. Now, at number 7 on this list, I have Danilo Gallinari. Danilo Gallinari is a good offensive player, but he's kind of just a role player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's averaging 19 points, 5.5 rebounds. He gives the scoring that the Thunder need, as Chris Paul isn't really a big scorer. Shai Gilgeous isn't. He's a good scorer, just not as good as maybe a Gallinari, as Gallinari is mostly scoring, which actually that fits in well because Steven Adams also doesn't score a lot. So Gallinari, kind of a role player. He's a good player. It's just he'll never get 3 or 4 on this list just because you know what you're gonna get with Danilo, and that's points. Now at number 6 we have Blake Griffin. Now, Blake Griffin, his 3-point shot has regressed heavily. Last year, his 3-point shot was decent, maybe average, I'd say, but this year it's just gone way down. And his scoring has as well, as he's averaging 15.5 points and 5 rebounds. And just this isn't the Blake Griffin we're accustomed to seeing. Maybe he's just not trying because he's on the Pistons, but Blake Griffin, I would say his career's over because he's aging heavily, and I don't see him getting out of Detroit for maybe another 2 years, 3 years. How long is his contract? I don't know. But here at number 5 is another old guy, and that's Kevin Love. Now, the only reason I have Kevin Love ahead of Blake is because of his 3-point shot. Now, Kevin Love is averaging 18 points, 10 rebounds. His numbers are better than Kevin Love, or Kevin Love's numbers are better than Blake Griffin. And I just think he's a better player. He was better in his prime, and I think Kevin Love has shown that he can win. He wasn't the main option, even he wasn't the second option, but he still has proved that he can win. And I just think Kevin Love deserves to be number 5. He definitely will drop out of this list in the coming years, however. Now, at number 4, we have John Collins. People might say he's too high. They might say he should be below Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, maybe even Danilo Gallinari. But I like John Collins. He's a great scorer. He's a good rebounder. If he can just get his defense to average, he can definitely be a good player in everyone's mind. He fits well with Trae Young as he can score, although people might say that's why he doesn't fit well. But he slides in nice to Clint Capella, as Clint Capella can make up on the defensive side, and he can make up on the offensive side. John Collins, I mean, I don't really see him developing a defensive game, but if he drops you 22 points a night, you're happy. Now, at number 3, we have Domantas Sabonis. Obviously, he was an all-star. I was looking at his stats, and he's averaging 12.5 rebounds, and that surprised me. So, obviously, he's a good rebounder, which I didn't know he was a good rebounder. He's a decent playmaker for a big man, as he gets 5 assists. And I really don't think he plays well with Miles Turner, however. If Miles Turner was traded maybe, or if he was traded off the Pacers, then I really think he would flourish. He might get up to that 20-point mark, as right now he is averaging 18.5 points, which is still good. It's just I really think he can do better. I just don't like the fit with Miles Turner, and if he can get away from Miles Turner, I've seen a lot of Miles Turner now, but if he can get away from Miles Turner, he could definitely, I don't know, raise on this list, but because the other two are good players, he could just solidify himself and maybe make a run at number 2, Pascal Siakam. Now, obviously, Kawhi's sidekick last year, now he's leading an overachieving Raptors team. What are they, the 2, 3, 4 seed? Them and the Heat are the 2 overachieving teams, I would say. Now, Pascal Siakam is great on offense, and he's good at defense. Great at defense, I'd say. Now, he's averaging 24 points, 7.5 rebounds. He's really stepped it up without a leader, and I can see him growing into maybe 25 points, maybe even 10 rebounds. And I really think that Pascal Siakam could become a great playmaker. Maybe not great, a good playmaker. I just feel like he has good vision. He just sometimes doesn't execute on his passes. I don't know, that's just me. You might not agree with that. But at number 1 is the obvious number 1, I would say, and that is Anthony Davis. Now, he's the second best player on a 1 seed, and he could be the first best player on most other teams. I'd say 2/3 of the NBA he would be the best player on. But just a good team, he's the second best player. It makes sense, obviously, with LeBron James. He's a great sidekick with LeBron. Obviously, they are the 1 seed. Anthony Davis is a force on offense, a force on defense. He'll probably never get up into the MVP conversation just because centers really don't win MVP nowadays. But he's always in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, which I think a great offense, 27 points on offense, and a great defense, Defensive Player of the Year conversation every year should at least get you maybe top 5 votes almost every year, as Anthony Davis is a very consistent player. He's averaging 27 points, 9 rebounds, some great defense, and he definitely is the number 1 power forward on this list. I would say there's a bit of a gap between him and Pascal, and then a bit of a gap between Pascal and the rest of the players. Now, power forward isn't a great position in the NBA, as there is 1 star, 2 and 3 are all-stars, but then everyone else is kind of just not great players. I would say it's the weakest position we've seen so far. Shooting guard and power forward, definitely. Center is a good position. But Anthony Davis is definitely the best power forward on this list. So I'll go through everyone. At 1, we have Anthony Davis. At number 2, we have Pascal Siakam. 3, Domantas Sabonis. 4, John Collins. 5, Kevin Love. 6, Blake Griffin. 7, Danilo Gallinari. 8, Jaren Jackson Jr. 9, Zion Williamson. 10, Paul Millsap, with honorable mentions of Al Horford, Draymond Green, and Christian Wood. Now, a last thought on this list. I definitely could see in the future being Anthony Davis, Pascal, Zion, maybe even Zion getting up to 2. But maybe in like 5 years, I can see it being Anthony Davis, Zion, Pascal, maybe Jaren Jackson Jr., Domantas Sabonis, John Collins, Christian Wood, and then some more players. Power forward is an aging position, as we have Paul Millsap, Blake Griffin, Kevin Love. Danilo Gallinari is 28, 29. He's moving past his prime. And obviously, Al Horford and Draymond Green are bad now, I would say. Draymond Green might get better. We don't know with Steph Curry and Clay back. But that is my top 10 power forwards and 3 honorable mentions, of course. Now, in the future, I think me and a couple of my friends are going to be recording a video ranking the top NBA players at every number, which should be fun. And then obviously we're going to be doing the top centers and then the top 10 players in the NBA period. Now, I hope you get excited. I hope you come back and watch more videos. I hope you loved this video. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you come back to watch more. Now, I don't say this, I don't think I've ever said this in a video, but I would mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed. Now, thanks for watching, and peace.